Good morning and welcome to Middleton Lodge. We're at a Genesis range day, so it's time to get our mitts on some Genesis models. Engines like 2.5 all-wheel drives. There's even some electrical vehicles on the horizon too. Welcome to Planet Auto. My word, this is luxury at its finest. I'm going to enjoy this. Genesis G80 certainly makes a statement. I mean, just look at that grille. It's colossal, but not in a bad way. It just looks, well, it's commanding, certainly. But that's it. Genesis are trying to make a mark in the UK market, and it's not easy. So many have failed. But we already know how good Kia and Hyundai are. And when you get a premium vehicle combined with both of their technology, styling, I mean, just look at their latest motors. The new Tucson, beautiful in every way. And then you look at the Kia Sorento, more beautiful design language. So it just makes sense that the Genesis looks this good. But as I said, you're going up against markets like BMW, Mercedes, Lexus. I really do hope this makes its mark. But it's definitely going the right way about it. Everything from the driving, the styling, and the luxury premium touches inside and out. Absolutely everything that you need on a car that costs you essentially around £55,000 with a load of packs. But what you get for that money is quite unbelievable. For a start, we have a 2.5 turbocharged engine with an 8-speed automatic. As for performance, well, 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. You've got a sport mode, eco mode, and comfort. But comfort's what you need in a big comfortable cruiser like this. Essentially, this is a Grand Coupe. It just astounds me the way that Genesis have made their cars look. Slim down headlamps, all LED, automatic, high beam assist, all that gubbins. Beautiful styling throughout, and a big deep bumper. I mean, just look at the shaping around here. 20-inch wheels, a rather low profile tyre, but considering that profile, it's got a rather smooth ride. Now, these design accents, they just really lift it. Blind spot detection, power folding mirrors, and the addition of chrome around the window line. And just look at that sloping roofline. But that doesn't affect the headroom in the back. It's just tastefully done. Because sometimes you can over chrome a car. But on this, it just looks right. I mean, even the chrome at the bottom of the doors. You've got rear LEDs, and you can clearly see Genesis. So 4-wheel drive and 2.5 turbocharged. Parking sensors, 360 camera, and it's not the smallest rear window I've seen either, meaning you can actually see out of it when reversing, which is, well, something that seriously lacks in this type of car normally. And one fact we absolutely hate is the fact that you don't get real exhaust. Well, these are actually real exhausts. Yeah, these may be trims, but behind them there is an exhaust at either side. Beautiful, luxurious, and roomy. Keyless entry, and the door opens nice and wide. Luxurious styling. Everything just feels really good to the touch. If you're a tactile person, it's an oasis of fun. Just look at the smooth design. The colour scheme too. Everything about this vehicle just screams money. But that's the thing, the price tag isn't excessive. It really isn't. I mean, just look at things like the rotary dial. The switchgear feels so good. The build quality. The fact that the doors go thud. You do have a grab handle up here, which is quite unbelievable because you just don't normally get on the driver's side. Trimmed with premium fabrics. Wouldn't imagine this is proper leather in today's world, but whatever it is does feel good. Well, everything is just finished exquisitely. Stitchings, recessed buttons, even the position of the engine start-stop button. You see you've got your 360 cameras, you've got your driving modes, you've got your USBs down here, wireless charging pad, supportive seats, very comfortable, decent headroom, decent legroom. It's a fully electric seat, it's got lumbar support, and as I mentioned, it's got memory function. And the position of this, well, it reminds me of Dorothy, because Dorothy's functions are on the door. beautiful. When you hit the start button, you're met by the Genesis logo. And yes, the cluster does look a bit Kia and Hyundai, but that'd make perfect sense, wouldn't it? Now when we start going through the navigation system, you've got guest accounts, your DAB radio, your navigation, and this is how you control your media system. You've also got your shortcut return buttons, so your back, your home and your menu. But most of the navigation is done through this rotary dial. The screen is, well, it's definitely HD. You've got your various systems. Press the center to activate. It's rather intuitive. Radio, media, sounds of nature. Let's see what we've got. Calm sea waves, of course. I do like additions like this. Calming sea waves. In a sea of storm barra. Well, at least you're away from it in here. Even with 20-inch wheels, you don't really get much road noise, and that's on these, well, they're not the best roads. Wind noise, no. Sat here now, I mean, there's a storm and you can faintly hear it. Or is that the calming sea waves? The thing about this car is you know you're in something special. Paddles on the back of the steering wheel, it would have been nice to see them on the column, but they're there and that's what matters. Simple, straightforward buttons. Cruise control, hit that button, change the distance between the car and front. It's just all straightforward. On this little panel to the right, I can release my boot, which is a power tailgate, the brightness of my cluster, and I can turn off my start-stop. And this is where your handbrake is. Storage points galore. Well, this, that reveals 2 cup holders, and then this. If you push that, everything's just tastefully done. Smooth, just look at the motion. USBs, wireless charging pad, and then under here, press this button, voila. Story handage pot and a large area. There's also a 12-volt socket hidden in here. Door pocket, not the biggest, but perfectly ample. Glove box, now, this is always interesting in a car like this. Well, the manual takes up most of it. Just look at the finish here. Everything is touch sensitive as well. It's quite reflective. But the movement, I'm just mesmerized. Plus, touch activated lights. Now, some things may seem over-engineered, but I don't really think they are. The challenge for Genesis is to establish themselves in markets that, well, they're hard to tackle. As I said, the premium brands hold very strong in this country. So to get somebody to look at another vehicle is a Herculean task. Therefore, the fact that you get all this tech, you get premium finishes, you get smooth movements, you get tactile surfaces, you get an infotainment screen that's, well, offers calm sea waves. And I really hope Genesis can make the mark. Dawn Barra's certainly on its way. It's getting rather chilly. Look at this for a rear door. Whoa, that shows you the power of the wind. This is nice and solid. Doors open nice and wide, and if you've noticed, they're pretty damn long. This is a decent opening, and considering I'm 6'3", look how much leg and foot room I have. Climbing in, well, just look how buckety these seats are. Headroom. Considering the sloping roofline, I've still got about an inch of clearance above my head, and I'm sat the way I would. Perfect line of sight through the window, and there's even a recess here. I like the front, it's just beautifully trimmed. Grab handles throughout. It's rare to see a grab handle above every door, but no, this offers. The one thing you have got is a raised transmission tunnel, but that makes sense, it's 4-wheel drive. Decent leg room, and I can get my feet under the seats. Deep buckety seats. It's like being in a racing coupe. And then look at this. It's a full width pull down armrest with storage here, USB, cup holders. Oh, it's beautiful. You've got a ski hatch as well. You get your planks of wood in, or in this case probably skis. Perforated leather, Isofix points, luxurious, comfortable. Arguably, I prefer to be in the back of this car than driving it, and that's saying something for me, it really is. I've even got tri-zone as well, so I can adjust the heat, fan speed, even direction. More touchy buttons. It's beautiful, it really is. And the headline is nice and light, so it makes it light and airy. If you think your front passengers and driver are being a little greedy, you can actually put their seats forward. I'd ask for their consent first though. You can even tilt their seat forward. But that makes it the perfect place for a passenger. I think the only thing I need is a glass of champagne. And look, power tailgate. Decent sized boot, bit of a boot lip. But look how deep it goes. Storage nets here, tethering points, and there's two lights. If I pull this up, inflation kit and some extra storage. As this is a saloon, you can't drop the seats, but you do have a ski hatch. Now the Genesis G80 has a price tag of just under 55,000. Now you can get one for around 47, but this has things like the innovation pack. I'm just trying to get my bearings. I used to drive these roads at university, but that was 20 years ago. Welcome behind the wheel of the G80. This is powered by a 2.5 turbocharged engine, and we've got an 8-speed automatic. Yes, we'll play with that a little later. And as you can tell from that, we've got lots of mod cons as well. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and all manner of safety. And in a word, it's a rather premium experience. You've got premium finishes throughout. I'm going to be saying premium a lot, but that's honestly what it feels like. Now, if you don't know anything about Genesis, well, Genesis is the luxury leg of Hyundai and Kia. We know damn well that both of those car manufacturers make some really fine vehicles. They're also there when it comes to cutting edge technology. But this is just your old school petrol engine. And look, there's a national speed limit sign. Kick down. Oh, you could have some fun with this. Yeah, it does make a bit of noise when you put it under load, but that's half the battle. Handling. Well, considering it's a big car, it's quite engaging. But that's not what it's built for. It's built to cruise. It's smooth, it's luxurious, and yes, we're in comfort mode. The steering suits the car, depending on which driving mode it's in. Well, it depends on what the experience is like. You get good feedback, and at this speed, it's got a slight bit of weight, but it's quite light too, so yeah, it's interesting. But the faster I get, yeah, you do feel it weighting up quite nicely. Put it into things like sport, and yeah, even slower speeds, it definitely feels far weightier, which is the exact combination you're after. That's eco mode. Ooh, you feel it power down. That's comfort. Ooh, you feel it soften up. And sport. Yes, it's already prepped its box. Oh, yes.
That is peppy, isn't it?
Yeah, and that wasn't even flawed because the power's just sat there.
Ready to be unleashed.
Well, that's it. With an 8-speed automatic box, it's like a dual clutch, and you get something that's rather performance-y. Now, is that weighting? It is.
Brakes are good as well.
Yeah, and the cornering. I mean, I'm sure you could get this sideways. 4x4 drift. Listen to, oh, it is a completely different animal when you stick it in sport. It really is. And it's hardly slow when you're in comfort, but this.
Just takes it to a new level, doesn't
You
it?
don't expect that from this size of car on these kind of roads.
It's a big, comfortable cruising vehicle, isn't it? But it's wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah. Well, it does 0 to 100 kilometers in 6 seconds, which
That's fast.
I'd say that's 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds ish. I'm not very familiar with oh dear.
Is that another Genesis by any chance?
Yeah.
Well,
there we go.
I'm in an SUV, so I'm off-roading it. Whoever that is. I recognise that smile. That's Freddie. I think you're having far too much fun in this, Ben.
Yeah, as usual, when I get behind the wheel of something fun, I just the words go out the window, don't they? And I just like sit here and concentrate and drive. The responsiveness to that box with the 2.5 is just we'll have a proper play in the national speed.
I'm gonna catch some of Ben's expressions now because he's loving this.
The thing is, that's not what this is built for, but the fact that it's got that, this is the kind of car I'd buy purely and simply because it's got sport mode that actually knows how to act. You've got memory function on the driver's seat and the passenger seat. The steering wheel remembers where it was. It's just, well, it's what you expect.
You've also got heated and ventilated seats as well in the front.
Well, that's not surprising, is it? Knowing Kia and Hyundai, they do love that. And that's always a nice experience. It's amazing how many times a ventilated seat has saved us in summer when we forgot to take our jacket off.
It's just guaranteed to make a long journey a very comfortable and enjoyable trip.
It is, yeah. Woo! Beautiful. Yeah, it makes a bit of a racket, but I like that.
Sometimes you want to be able to hear the engine roar.
Very intuitive, reverse neutral drive, press it down to park. The cluster. The rev counter goes backwards. Yes, that is a great feature. The suspension's very comfortable, but not to the point that it's too much like a cloud, so you still do feel the road. But it's not in a bad way, it just means you can actually tell what your vehicle's doing. Because I suppose that's the challenge with Lady Dorothy. You don't really know what the vehicle's doing because it's too cloudy. MPG, well, it's not going to be the most economical vehicle in the world, is it? The way I'm driving it, I'm getting 11.3 to the gallon. That's not surprising. Every time I see a national speed, I drop a gear. So let's drop it into eco and see how fast we can improve that. I'm sure if we look into the vehicle section, we can no doubt tweak various settings. Smart cruise control, link to drive mode. Interesting. What else have we got in here? Cluster. This is very responsive. Theme selection. So that's the thing, you can customize to your heart's content. Economy's back up to 12 already, so we've climbed 0.7 of a mile in about a mile. Now we're getting 13.6 to the gallon. It keeps climbing 1 or 2 points every about half a mile. Smooth transition through the box. It dropped a gear then, and I could only ever so slightly tell. Crazy woman in a Range Rover there. I'm very at home in this. Now a car like this, visibility is always going to be interesting. I mean, you've got a pretty big B pillar here, but who cares? You've got blind spot detection, and that's the thing about cars nowadays. Things like that would be a big problem back in the day. You've got safety to this level, you've got cameras there, you've got your blind spot detection, lane keep assist. It combines, as I said, premium elements with a decent driving experience. And I suppose the more you drive a vehicle like this, you realise it's probably a strength to actually have an electronic handbrake, especially things like hill start assist. It just makes it far more premium, luxurious. I don't really need to do anything because the car's going to do it for me. I mean, Just listen how quiet that powertrain is.